Okay, welcome to the Social Chameleon, episode 2, take 2. We had a little problem last night with the audio, so we couldn't leave you guys hanging. We had to come back on again, a little Friday special.
Yep.
And deliver what we did last night. I think it's gonna be even better because.
Yeah, so now we're running through it number 2,
Yeah.
right? So
Take
next
2.
time around should be a lot more interesting, a lot more crisp.
This is a demonstration
Yeah,
of Wirecast.
so hopefully you guys can hear us and everything's going straight right now.
Things should be solid. We're live. Everything looks good.
All right.
And so this is, like I said, it's the Social Chameleon presented by Win the War from Within. I'm Tyson. This is Justin. Tonight's topic: relationships, networking, anchor points, and a whole bunch more.
Yep.
We got a giveaway at the end.
So
and
stay at the end. We got a giveaway.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
All right. Let's get to it here. Speaking of anchor points, what are you talking about?
Basically, anchor points. It's what you're attaching your responses to. You know, your current responses to, whether it's stemming from an anchor point of pain or an anchor point of pleasure. So if you're coming off negative, responding negatively, or just giving a bad response,
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
it's because it stems from a previous incident, which is an anchor point, pain.
Right.
You know, it even includes your outlook on things, such as, you know, let's say you got fired from a previous job and you felt you were the best worker and you were the best person and you did everything correctly, you never called off, and all of a sudden you got fired. You know, you sit there with resentment. Well, resentment now becomes your anchor point.
Right.
And you tend to reflect those feelings on your next opportunity. And that's what might end up costing you your opportunity. And you have to kind of understand that it's basically how you are responding and from what place you're responding from. You know, we want to get you guys to the point where, you know, through our program, through our coaching, is to get you guys to go from your positive anchor points, so that way you're not limiting your opportunities. You know, you're actually creating more opportunities.
This is a demonstration
or
of Wirecast.
Appreciating the opportunities. It's basically your outlook on a previous situation that's dictating your current opportunity. You know, so when a bad thing happens to you, you have to make a conscious decision right there, even if it hurts, you know, to either let it sit and sulk and fester and grow into this thing that just is a negative, you know, spiral downwards, cliff of despair type of situation. Or you can say, you know what, this is part of the process. You know, I'm gonna learn something from this and use it as motivation to better myself, to take advantage of the next opportunity. And that's why, you know, from last night's episode, the main thing we're focusing on was looking at things objectively. You have to take the pain out of it.
This is a demonstration
You
of
can't
Wirecast.
sit there getting all crazy and crying and emotional, because you got to solve it.
Right.
And the best thing to do is to look at it objectively and just judge the facts on the situation. And going back to my earlier example of getting fired from your job, if you had done everything possible and you felt you did everything correctly and that you were not at fault and it was just the company, the person running the company,
This is a demonstration
hell, it could
of
be somebody that
Wirecast.
just didn't like you at the job, it's all right. Don't be mad. Don't have malice. Don't have hate. That's just, it's creating more unnecessary problems in your life because you're not directing your focus in the right way. You're focusing on shit that you just can't solve. It's done. It's
Out of your
over
control.
with. It's out of your control already. Once it's happened, it's no longer your control. And of course, it's a case-by-case
This is a demonstration of
thing depending on
Wirecast.
what it's relating to. But right now, with the context we're talking about, we're trying to not limit your opportunities at a better life, at a better path, at success. And it all stems from what you anchor, any responses to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just we tend to fall into patterns because of
This is a
how we
demonstration
grew
of
up or
Wirecast.
the people we're surrounded with.
Mhm.
And what we fail to understand is that it's learned tendencies.
Yes, learned behaviors.
If the people I'm surrounding myself with always make excuses, always choose to limit their opportunities, because you're around them so much, you soak that up. You become a part of them, and you become a part of their philosophies. No matter how bad you go home and you tell yourself, I want to be better, I want to
This
change
is a
my life.
demonstration of
The
Wirecast.
more you hang around those type of situations, those types of people, that's partly what builds your anchor points. And then you got to think about, you as a child, being raised and whatnot with the people in your household that you couldn't control.
Mm-hmm.
The situations that happen in your household. If you lived in a great household, fantastic, but there still were situations that created certain beliefs in you, what your parents said, how your parents acted, the kids you grew up with, the cousins you hung around with.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all learned tendencies that build your anchor points. It builds
This is
your
a demonstration
belief
of
system
Wirecast.
on how you view situations, view people, view things like that. So you have to take all that in account and process it. Reading from the Principles book today from Ray Dalio, no matter how emotional you want to get into, I'm paraphrasing this right now, but this is principle number 2 and number 3. No matter how emotional you want to get, no matter how angry you want to be, no matter how much you feel,
This is a
you know what?
demonstration of Wirecast.
Fuck, it's that person's fault.
Right.
Or you know what? Why me? Or you know what? It shouldn't have happened. Oh, God's just fucking with me. That's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Yes, you can't necessarily take back the beliefs that were instilled into you as a child, but you can evolve it and you can change it. And it takes work. It takes work to change your anchor points. But you have to be willing to make that
This
conscious
is a demonstration
decision
of Wirecast.
to change those unconscious beliefs that was instilled into you.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts by you being whatever age you might be right now. I'm assuming everybody on here is adults. That doesn't matter what happened then.
Yeah.
It's what happens moving forward. Now, I've always said with people, you are a product of your environment. And at times I've used that as, without thinking about it, I've used that as an excuse for people because subconsciously I'm trying to justify why the fuck they act this way, or why they're so negative and so stupid. Because I've always lived my life, outwardly with people. I always tell people, anybody can focus on the negative. Find me one person that can always focus on that silver lining, that positivity. Because guess what? Behind every rain cloud, there's going to be a sun. There's going to be some type of sunshine, a brand new day. But if you don't hold on to that belief, or you don't believe that, or whatever else, or grasp that concept, every day is going to be shit for you.
Of Wirecast.
You're going to say, oh man, it's raining today. Fuck, oh my God, I can't do this, can't wash my car. Then the sun's out. Oh God, it's fucking hot today.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now it's sunny. Then it was raining. It's cold. It's hot. It's always something. Yeah.
You're not allowing yourself to change your beliefs. So as an adult right now, you have to make that conscious decision that shit, if I want to be...
Or even not. Even as a kid.
Even as a kid, exactly. Yeah. If parents out there teaching your kids this, look, you want them to not be negative. You want them to cultivate their imagination. You want them to be productive when they are adults. You have to give them a better perspective on life. Mm-hmm. And if you're not doing that, when the kids end up the way they do, don't be frustrated at them.
Yeah. Point
to yourself. Oh, well, you don't know my situation. You can't tell me how to parent, blah, 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 blah. You're right, I can't tell you how to parent. But I'm not going to sit there and pat you on the back or be a shoulder for you to cry on when the results that I knew were going to happen
This is a
end up
demonstration
happening.
of Wirecast.
And it's not like I did not give you forewarning on this. You have to understand whether your kids are around or not, they're learning a lot of shit every day from friends, from environments, from people, whatnot.
Teachers, television, YouTube.
Exactly. And it's your job as the parent to set a certain standard, because at the end of the day, regardless of what menu they look at, you are the primary restaurant. Right. You are the primary person that they come back to for that final word, that guidance, judgment. To say, hey, you know what? These 3 people back here were telling me this whole bunch of shit. They're not going to tell you this outwardly, it's subconsciously. And then they come to you and they pose a question to you, and then all of a sudden you're either verifying what was said, you know, and validating what was said, or because you're setting the right principles or because you're setting the right belief system, they sit there going, well, you know what? You guys think differently from these 3 people, and I'm going to take your word because your family, you're my parents. You are my role model. So, product of your environment, you know, I was talking about this.
I want to add on to that. Also, I guess I would want to say a third one is teaching them to think. This is how I think about it. You already heard what they have to say. You come to a conclusion. You come to a thought. What are your thoughts? How do you think about this? What do you perceive? What do you feel like is right or wrong, or what should have been done, or what should be done in the future? That also, personally, I like to pose. I mean, not to just my children, but everybody. Okay, that's great. That's what you think. I think something different. You know, how did you get to where you're at? You know, I just wanted to kind of add that in there too.
No, that's absolutely correct. You know, questions are huge, and we tend to limit our children's questions because it's annoying.
But not just that, we're projecting our beliefs and our limitations onto their dreams or their hopes or whatever it is too.
Right, but at the same time, it's like when these kids are in that phase of questioning, they're building their patterns of belief. Whether we understand that or not, it's what we're putting out there to you guys right now. You know, when they're sitting there and asking you questions at age 3, 4, 5, they're slowly building their beliefs without knowing what a belief is. And what we say, how we act, how we respond, whether it's to them, to other people, business associates, friends, family, spouses, or whatnot, this is their computer right here, their eyes, and they're just taking in information, and the information is coming like this, and as they evolve and grow, you know, when they see things repetitively, the same type of communication that happens between spouses, right? Or the same type of messages that are being sent from the parent to the child, they start to remember that and file that, because now it's a repetitive thing. They think, well, you know what, this must be commonplace. This must be a common issue.
This is how things are done.
These are how things are done.
Everybody yells at each other.
Yeah, or swear, you know, how the husband and wife talk to each other. You know,
how you treat others when you're out. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Waiters and servers and things like that.
That's all belief systems that these kids are building. And if we sit here wondering why our kids don't treat other people well, you have to first objectively look at yourself and say, shit, what did I do wrong? What did I, you know, where did I go wrong in this process? And then you have to start asking yourself those questions. And that's why with us, we've come to understand that questions are super foundational on everything. I mean, like I was saying earlier, you know, I used to use product of your environment as an excuse for people. And last night's conversation I had after we got off of the Social Chameleon, you know, brought things to light that, you know what, it's yeah, you are a product of your environment, but if you are willing to change, that product of environment that you're in is fluid.
Yes.
It's going to continually change, you continually be a sponge, and you can't shut that off, because whatever you expose yourself to is pretty much, as a child does, it's going to subconsciously, when it sees it being done repetitively, think it's common nature, it's second nature, commonplace, and you're just going to end up doing it because you're so involved with these people and whatnot. So if you want to change your pain and your pleasure anchors, you have to start identifying, you know, with yourself, you know, what shitty beliefs do I have?
Yeah.
You know, what pains do I have?
What beliefs don't serve you anymore?
Exactly. And create new ones.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, going back to the principles book, the biggest thing in there is objectivity.
Yeah.
You
This
have
is
to
a
ask the
demonstration
hard
of
questions. It's like you're
Wirecast.
playing detective with yourself. And once you ask the hard questions, you have to be prepared before you start asking those questions that, hey, the truth is inevitable.
Yeah.
And when that truth happens, that you have to fully understand and be aware that I got two choices right now. I can either sit here and cry and say, oh shit, I didn't know I was that bad, and not change and just lose a week, a month, a year of your life.
Even an hour.
Even an hour of bullshit.
Yeah.
Or you can see it,
This is
accept
a
it, and
demonstration
say,
of
shit,
Wirecast.
I have to change it.
Yeah. I mean, just like, good example here. We did this last night. We got done a 2-hour thing, and no audio. And this morning, I checked the recording. It's like, shit, no audio. And instead of saying, oh, the computer, oh, it's Facebook, oh, no, fuck that. I got next to, you know what, Justin, I fucked up. Can we do it again tonight? Bam, done. And that's the thing. I didn't sit around and wallow. I couldn't live with myself. I fucked up. It was my fault. I'm the one in charge of technology. I'm the one in charge of all this stuff. I didn't do my job correctly. And I wasn't going to sit around and blame nobody. Blame me. I could have made 1,000 excuses. We could have just said, fuck episode 2. We'll see you next week.
Right.
But I wasn't going to sit with me, And that's the things that we do. Like, that we recommended last week, extreme ownership. I took that shit. It's mine. We want to put a product out there. We want to put this information out there to you folks. And I wasn't going to let that sit by and be how things ended last night.
Right.
Like I said, I could have easily made excuses and I didn't. We made shit happen. We scheduled it again tonight. We were able to do it at the same time. And here we are, And that's just a good example of that.
Yeah, I mean, the sad part about, people with their lives or trying to deal with a personal situation, or people that are entrepreneurs or whatnot, they fail to understand that in this day and age, it's really about the message you give out, which is kind of like for a personal thing, the perception you put out, right?
This is a demonstration
and the quality.
Of Wirecast.
And most people focus on quantity or rushing.
Right.
If you really understand your purpose, you really want to solidify your message, whether that's, like I said, in a personal aspect or for marketing or whatnot.
Yeah. Your job, your product, whatever.
You have to stay committed. You have to say, you know what? I know we spent almost 2 hours filming yesterday. I know that I live an hour plus away from here. But all that doesn't matter, because if we do not do this, we are not serving our purpose.
No.
We are not fulfilling our message that we're trying to get across, that this show is about us providing value. And if you can't hear us because, of whatever the situation is that happened on our end, then we have failed you guys. You guys are not getting that value. So, it's about understanding who you are, what your purpose is, and what you're trying to fulfill.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
You just do it. There shouldn't even be a question on it. Oh, man, I don't know. Because the bottom line, when you start teeter-tottering like that, it's because you don't want to put the work in.
A lot of times, that's
it's just oh God, man, it's oh fuck, we got to do this again, or instead of saying, you know what, you're right, let's do it, let's take charge. It's that energy you got to put in, even if you're tired. It's how much do you believe in yourself or your product. Now, product is a very broad term. Product can be used in the business sense, and for some of the people that are on here, maybe they don't have a business or whatnot, but the product can be yourself. Yeah. In fact, it is yourself.
It's always yourself, no matter what you do.
And if you don't focus on the quality of the product, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be received well. And when you start having bad memories, bad relationships, bad communication, bad situations, bad things happening to you, it's because you're focusing on shit that you know you can fix, but you choose not to fix it because in some sick way you want that sort of attention. You're fishing, as I used to call it with people, you're fishing for attention. You want people to play the woe is me game with you and sympathize and hug you because of some emotional need that escapes you. Whether your parents didn't love you enough, or you couldn't make friends or whatnot. Hell, we've all been there, but at some point you have to wake up and realize that These people that are coming to your aid are the same ones when you leave sitting there going, this guy's a fucking asshole. I'm getting tired of his shit. And it's not fun and productive, and it leads to more problems and more problems and more problems to the point where you are trapped under this avalanche because you wanted it, because you wanted the tension. You wanted people to come running to you. And then you realize, oh God, there's not enough people to run to help me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to take all this into perspective. You know, anchor points and beliefs are very, very huge.
This
and
is a demonstration.
you know, we have no veil over us. We're not sitting here saying that your beliefs can change overnight. It can't.
No.
You know,
you can only change a few of them at a time. 1, 2 tops.
It takes, you know, like we said the other night, it takes 18 to 24 months to change one belief, and it just doesn't change by doing it half-assed or lackadaisical. You got to put work. You got to put emphasis. You got to be willing to try. Oh, but I got PTSD. Oh, but this traumatic thing happened to me. You're right. Okay, those things do hurt. Those things do have an impact. But when something is really punching at you, at some point you have to meet force with force. You have to meet impact with impact. And what do you meet the impact of pain with? You meet the impact of pain with the impact of pleasure, and you battle with it like two rams attacking each other. Okay? At some point, you keep pushing your focus one way or the other. That way you're focusing is going to win. And if you focus hard enough on saying, I want a better life, and beyond that, you sitting here saying like an affirmation, I deserve a better life. You see, when you sit here and say, you know, I want a better life, you know, I want a better life, I want to succeed, bullshit, you're going to have to sit there because you're not feeling it. Your physiology is saying, liar, liar, liar. You have to sit there and tell yourself, you know what, I deserve better.
No more.
No more. Bullshit. Yeah. I want a better life. You see how the energy, the motivation, it's like you're willing yourself to say, quit focusing on this. We're here. Hone it in.
Is a demonstration,
you know,
and
getting back to the anchor points thing, if you really want to, you know, change the current events of your life, start putting the bad events away. Let it go. If it's somebody that hurts you, don't just say,
forgive and forget.
I forgive you, but I won't forget. That's bullshit. You have to forgive and you have to forget. Because if you don't forget, it's carrying baggage. Yeah. You have to let it go. If it's something you failed at,
of Wirecast.
Understand why, look at it objectively, let it go. If a job lets you, let it go. If your wife or husband lets you, let it go. Yeah. Move on. If your parents didn't love you enough and the only thing that loved you was the drugs and the alcohol, but you want a better life, let that shit go. How bad, you have to sit there and really ask yourself in a calm and kind of meditative state, how bad do I want this
Wirecast?
Because I keep asking about it. I keep thinking about it. I keep wanting it. I make subtle changes, but I never commit through. Why? How bad do I want this life? And then you have to sit there and go, do I deserve this life?
Absolutely.
And if you believe that and you think that way, just like what Ty said, absolutely, then you need to look back at this life and go, fuck you. But I am not taking this shit.
On that, everybody, we all deserve it. Don't, if you think you don't, that's wrong. We all deserve whatever we want, whatever we think of, we all deserve it.
Right.
Now, getting it, that's what you're talking about. But everybody deserves it all. You can think it and you can wish it and want it. Being able to have the thought is proof you can do it. That's all you need. How? That's something else. But you know it can be done already. And you deserve it. We all do. No matter what it is. I don't give a fuck what anybody tells you. I'm telling you right now, the truth is, you deserve it. Every single goddamn one of us. No matter what we've done in the past, it doesn't matter. Now is a new time. The present hasn't come yet. The future hasn't come yet. You deserve it. No matter what you've done, you've been in prison, you've done bad things. It doesn't matter. That's over with. Moving forward, always remember you deserve it.
You know, the biggest part about life is that everybody's willing to give advice.
This is a
And
demonstration
everybody
of Wirecast.
always gives judgments. You know, and you surround yourself with a lot of people that do that. And we sit here and go, oh, but you know, this person is saying this about me, or I can't make it because society says that's all bullshit. You know, you have to understand that judgments are meant to help you improve the process. You know, when I sit there and I get judged, you know, I don't take it personally anymore. I sit back, you know, I don't let it fester, and I sit there and I objectively look at the process. And I sit there and I wonder, okay, why are they judging me? And eventually I get back to the answer that's going to help me improve my process. And if it is something that's with me, I thank them. Because now, because of their judgments, their so-called advice, their opinions about me, I've used that to make a better product. And that's what you got to continually do is you have the choice. You can't stop the judgments and the opinions coming, but what you can do is decide with your hands, what am I going to do with it? Yeah. You know, should I just file it and accept it, or should I sit here, put it down, look at it, process it, think about it, and then when I come to an actual answer that has facts backing it up, okay, you're correct. I applaud you, and now I know, hey, I'm going to be a better person because of this. You know what I mean?
It's funny you talk. We got on the subject. I didn't plan this, but talking about other people's opinions and opinions in general. Today in the Daily Stoic, that's exactly what is today's thing. It's about opinions. I'm going to read from this real quick. It's a short little passage, but it's exactly spot on what we're talking about. Now imagine this guy, Marcus Aurelius. He died in 168 or something like that. I just called it 2,000 years ago. He was one of the great emperors of Rome. Anyhow, we have the power to hold no opinion about a thing and to not let it upset our state of mind. For things have no natural power to shape our judgments. Marcus Aurelius. Here's a fun exercise. Think about all the upsetting things you don't know about. Stuff people might have said about you behind your back. Mistakes you might have made that never came to your attention. Things you dropped or lost without even realizing it. What's your reaction? You don't have one because you don't know about it. In other words, it is possible to hold no opinion about a negative thing. You just need to cultivate that power instead of wielding it accidentally, especially when having an opinion is likely to make us agitated. Practice the ability of having absolutely no thoughts about something. Act as if you had no idea it had occurred, or that you've never heard of it before. Let it become irrelevant or non-existent to you. It'll be a lot less powerful this way. I just love this part. It is possible to hold no opinion of a negative thing. Or anybody fucking says about anything you're doing, you don't have to accept it. You have the power to reject it. Right. Always.
And that's absolutely true. You have the power to accept or reject it. But if you, you know, from what I've come to understand too, is that when several reputable people in your life make a certain opinion about you, and it's a consistent opinion, at some point, this is what Ray Dalio touches upon, which kind of bridges the gap between the Daily Stoic and modern life right now. Is when you have multiple people of a higher authority that you respect, giving you the same opinion about you that seems to come off negative, that's when you need to sit back and go, you're right, I have the right to accept or not accept what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you are reputable to me and you are respectable to me and you're sitting here saying that I'm just an asshole and you're giving me specifics, now I have to look at myself and say, how can I change the problem?
If you want.
If you
That's
want to.
your choice.
That is your
Always
choice.
your choice.
It is your choice. But if you are chasing that better life, if you are sitting there saying, I deserve this life, then you have to go through those self-evaluations, peer evaluations, and you have to decipher which information to take and whatnot. If you've got a bunch of friends that aren't doing shit, they're sitting in a garage drinking beer, and they're the ones giving you opinions about you when their life is 10 times worse than what yours is, where you're on the path to right now, then of course, you know, you'd be kind of dumb to sit there and, oh, you know, you guys are correct.
Yeah, right. I should be mediocre like you. That's great.
Right.
And if that's what you want, that's something different. But if you don't, if you're striving for greatness, that's different.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is that's what bridges the gap between the daily stoic and the principles of today is that at times where you want to go, you have to seek out the advice, and not just the good advice from the people you want to become. You have to get honest evaluations about yourself. And if it comes back highly negative, they're basing it off of facts.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to sit there and, like how he said, it's your reasoned choice to take the information or not and how you process it. But my suggestion to you would be is if it's in line with the career you want to be, and these guys are mentors to you and they have, you know, they're validated, you know, and they're respectable, they're reputable and whatnot, listen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And make the steps to improve yourself. It's not about changing the essence of who you are. It's about making the essence better, making the product better. We're not completely changing what the product is. We're just adding better pieces to the product. It's like a phone, right? Right? You sit here and you think, oh, I have the best screen possible. Next thing you know, the screen breaks because it's fragile, because it wasn't the right screen or the right glass for the screen. You can either sit there with the broken glass, or you can take the advice and get new fucking glass and go through the process of that.
You just want to keep becoming a better you, a better version of yourself. You know?
Exactly, and that's why you have to really take judgments and opinions and critiques in a better way. You can't take it so personally. I mean, it's easy to get wrapped up and get pissed off and, you know, who the fuck are you telling me this shit? And you can't, man, you know what? The first thing you do is you look at that person, and right away you can tell if it's a fucking valid thing or not. If I look at the person and I know this guy just doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, I'm just going to laugh at them. I'm just going to say, you know, it is what it is.
That's fine.
You know,
sounds good.
You do you, whatever. But
thanks. You have a wonderful day.
But like I said, if it's coming from a peer, somebody who has always been consistent with their actions, who has been consistent, let's say you're trying to move up in a job, and it's somebody who's in leadership that has practice consistent leadership techniques, you know, that's the kind of advice you want to take from people. You know, you always want to be objective. You always want to continue to learn about yourself. And even if you're not in those situations, the best thing to do if you want to learn how to grow is to seek people out that know you and ask questions. You know, what did you like about me? What didn't you like about me? You know what I mean? And when you start seeing a consistent theme, you can take all of that, put it on the table, and start mapping out, okay, in order for me to get to where I need to be in my future and whatnot, I have to, you know, look at myself and see what improvements I got to make before I take that car out to market. I have to continually, you know, test the concept, test the concept, test the concept. And you know what, like I said, what we discuss flows in between personal development and business development. Because some of these strategies and ideas and philosophies that we have are intertwined with each other. You know, in order for a product to get out there to market, they have to, especially if it's a real fancy product, if it's a technological product, whatever the case may be, they always got to test the product out. And they got to refine and do this and that. And think of the market as where you want to be, your life, I deserve this up here. That is your market. Right now, we are in the R&D right now, research and development. Next, we're going to take it to the test point. Oh shit, we figured out something's not right. Take it back to R&D. Oh, we're losing time. Who gives a fuck? We are refining the product so that way when we launch, yeah, there's still going to be issues and problems, but at least the bulk of the issues that would have killed the project or derailed our life had been solved.
Right.
We're not sitting here blowing smoke or giving you fluff, pretending that you know problems aren't going to exist. If problems don't exist, that means you're not doing something correctly.
Yeah.
You have to understand that in order to innovate, which is something that we talk about in our 8 principles of success, in order to innovate, you have to come across problems. You have to come across mistakes. You have to embrace failure. You have to be able to sit there and learn from the process, because learning from your anchor points of pain will take you to unbelievable heights of pleasure anchor points moving forward. And that's what you want to continually come across or have in your life, so that way when you do come across another negative anchor point, it's not as bad. It's
This
like,
is
hey,
a demonstration
I've been there
of
before. If I've had
Wirecast.
worse,
I know what this is like. Yeah.
I know what this is like. I'm prepared. Fuck it, move it. I'm not going to panic. You know, looking back in a personal aspect, right? When you start thinking your life is great, and all of a sudden one problem happens, you know, and if you haven't learned how to attach your anchor points to something of pleasure, you're going to allow that one problem, and all of a sudden another problem happens, another problem isn't even its best ring. But when you get older and you learn the process of actually anchoring your issues to something positive and
This
pleasurable,
is a
when you
demonstration
come
of
across
Wirecast.
another situation where your life was going great and all of a sudden, boom, there was a roadblock or a slight hiccup, it'll seem as a hiccup instead of seeing as a complete stoppage. Because now you're like, hey, I've been here before. I can stay calm. I didn't drown the last time.
Right.
I didn't die the last time.
Yes, that's what I was just gonna say.
I am still standing, and I don't care what the problem is. It could be 10 times harder than the previous problem, but in your mind, it's not that hard because it was 10 times harder back then because you didn't know how to
This is a
swim.
demonstration of
You
Wirecast.
knew how to swim instinctively, but you allowed yourself to drown because you allowed everything else to consume you. Outside things that you could have just pushed away and said, you know what, not today. And that's the whole process of getting from your very negative, painful anchor points to your positive anchor points is when you get into a same scenario again, it's having the strength and the perseverance, the knowledge, the
This is a
aptitude,
demonstration of
and the
Wirecast.
attitude to push forward and to say, you know what, not today. I'm not going to panic. I'm going to think, how the fuck do we get ourselves out of the situation?
Right.
And if you can't, and then you've exercised every possible thing, your last option is what he talked about a couple minutes ago: extreme ownership. Step up to the plate, get the ass whooping, laugh about it, learn from it.
I fucked up. What did we do wrong? What can we do better next time?
Move on, because sometimes you're going to
This
come
is a
across scenarios
demonstration
that
of
you just
Wirecast.
can't fix. So the best thing you can do is to limit the damage.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you limit the damage? Extreme
Own up to that shit.
And that's another anchor point of pleasure. You have the conscious mind to say, look, I need to stop this bleeding now before it gets to the point where I got to cut the arm off.
Yeah.
You know, I'll live with the scar. I can't prevent the scar from happening. I will live with it, and I'm going to move the fuck forward. That's what you got to do. And most of the time, people are so afraid to face those situations. And I'll give you an example. You know, when you fall back on your credit cards and you get those phone calls and you don't want to answer the phone and talk to those creditors, that's running.
Right.
You know, if you don't talk to them, you know, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And depending on the state you're in, the implications can get pretty bad. So the best thing to do is look at the problem, suck it up. It's going to be painful either way.
This is a
And
demonstration of
communicate with them. And
Wirecast.
take the pain. And sometimes communicating with them will probably help the situation because now they understand what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Because you explained yourself, not made excuses.
Right.
You've explained yourself. And we'll get into communication and how to properly communicate and all this stuff in another episode of ours, you know, in the next couple of weeks. But right now, I'm just giving you a scenario on this that you don't know what the other person's thinking or the impression that they have of you. So
This
if you want
is
to
a
fix the situation, you have to
demonstration
take
of
extreme
Wirecast.
ownership and change their perception. And be flat honest. And if it doesn't change their perception, at least inside you know, hey, I'm fixing my issue. It is what it is. Now I can move forward with my life. The whole point of what we're trying to talk about right now with these anchor points is to make sure you understand that you have the ability to take off the chains, to take off the hands that are holding you back, the molasses or the quicksand that you are in right now.
This
That's
is a
that you feel, the
demonstration of
cement that you feel is
Wirecast.
holding you back. You know, the whole process that we're talking about today is telling you, look, you can break through all that.
Mm-hmm.
You can break the cement.
Break through
You
the
can
noise.
move your fit up. That's right. Break through the noise. You know, this will always be constant.
Yeah.
Right? But you'd rather have it out here than right here. Right here, consuming you. You know, so, you know, we've talked about how you change your beliefs and whatnot. We talked about how you change your anchor points. So now we're going to talk about your environments.
This is
You
a
know, unless you want to add anything else to the...
Wirecast.
No, I think, I mean, I'd like to get into why do we need to change our environments? Why is that important? And how do we do that?
It's about, you know, whatever your vision is for yourself and your consistency. If you want a better life, you have to first assess what your life is right now. What's the current status of my life? If I am in a situation that is just pure shit, I am in a bad neighborhood where drugs and gangs are rampant, where I'm in a city where the education is bad, or whatever the case may be, or my friends are just pure shit, and I've been around them for 20 years.
Coworkers or whatever.
Yeah, well, even take it to current standings right now. If you're in a job where you hate coming into work, when you get to work, everything is a problem. The coffee machine didn't work. Oh shit, my chair is squeaking. Oh my God, I have 100 reports to do, even though you only got 10, knowing that you had those same fucking 10 reports from yesterday. Okay? Oh my God, my boss is an asshole. Oh, I hate this place. You know, if you're in that type of environment, if you value yourself and you value your happiness, if it's affecting your loved ones, if it's restricting you from growing, from experiencing the life that you want, from chasing the dreams that you've always dreamt of as a child, or sitting in your house eating your ice cream, thinking about it because you hate your fucking job, you have to change your environment. And it's tough because either way you look at it, if you don't change your environment, your life is going to continue to be the same, and it's going to suck because you know it sucks. And you don't want to hear it from anybody, but it's absolute truth. It sucks. But changing your environment sucks too, because you have to come to grips with possibly moving away, possibly not associating with friends, with family members, with people that you've shared beers with, broken bread with, blood, sweat, and tears with. If your situation is that bad and you know it, and you have an actual I deserve this moment type of dream or goal, you have to change your environment. And sometimes it's drastic. Sometimes, you know, you have to completely move and get away. It's kind of like the movie Just Friends. You know, he had to make a change in his life because he was fat, he was teased, he couldn't get the girl of his dreams who was his best friend, and she ended up shafting him. The next thing you know, he moves away from his town for 10 years. But he gets sucked back in. And one reason why his situation didn't work out, I understand it's a movie, but it actually plays out perfectly well. The reason why his situation didn't work out is because he didn't actually have a sustainable reason or a deserving reason to stay out and to move on with his life. He ran. He thought running away from that environment was going to change things. And I want this to sink in with you guys. When we tell you to change your environment, we really want you to change your environment for a positive purpose. Because that positive purpose doesn't create an excuse, and it actually builds sustainability because you look forward to living that purpose. But if you just run away from an environment just because you have an excuse or you don't have a legitimate reason, you're always going to feel that tug and that pull to come back to that environment because you miss your friends. You know, you miss the camaraderie, the beers, the drugs, the good times. These guys understand me. Okay, they understand you because you don't understand yourself. You know?
If you don't work on yourself and fix yourself, it doesn't matter where you move. A new neighborhood, a new place, a new whatever. If your environment in here is out of whack, you're just picking up the weeds and bringing it to a new place.
Transporting the same shit someplace
else. Your environment is not just this type of thing. That is some. But the environment in here, in between your ears, in between your eyes, whatever.
Is a demonstration
your environment in your head, that is just as important. I say, because if you pick up and move to a new neighborhood, these people in this neighborhood suck. You pick up and move to a new neighborhood, and you're still the same shit ass person.
Yeah.
You're gonna just create the same problem. They're just gonna come up again. So you've gotta start. It's gotta start with you, and then as you're changing that, then you can start working also on changing the other environments. You can't bring that same shitty attitude to the new job or the new neighborhood the new state, the new place, whatever. Yeah.
This is a
Absolutely. And that's
demonstration
why,
of
like, through our
Wirecast.
program, we help you identify that. You know, we sit here and we tell you, if you don't fix this environment first, if you don't eliminate the garbage out of here first, it doesn't matter where you move to, where you live, because at some point you'll have short-term pleasure, you'll have short-term results, but in the long run, when you're not around those people every single day and you're home by yourself, sitting down in your room for several hours before you go to sleep, or because your friends are out working or partying on a Friday night, you start to reminisce and start to fall back on those old memories because you never fixed it.
Right.
You know, and you start missing it, and you start like, oh shit, and it's like, oh man, I got to give them a call. Oh man, I don't want to because, oh my God, they're so horrible. But you know what? They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun, and we're so gullible to chase, you know, those small short-term moments.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why this is so hard. Personal development, you know, it's a lot of truth searching.
This is a demonstration
and
of
if you're
Wirecast.
not, you know, willing to accept that truth, if you're not willing to embrace those things,
look deep within yourself.
Look deep within yourself and be prepared to move forward, then you're just pipe dreaming. You know, you really don't want to fix your problem. Everything is fixable.
Yeah.
I get the reason sometimes from people, but I also, as empathy, I tell them, but there's a way to fix it, because as long as you're still alive,
This is a demonstration
as long as you're
of
still
Wirecast.
breathing, you know, and gamblers understand this. As long as you still have $1, shit's possible.
You get a chance of somebody giving you $1.
Shit's possible. I mean, National Lampoon, Vegas Vacation, right? Came down to their last money.
Yeah.
After trying many different things,
Yeah.
and it hit. You know, those kind of things you have to think about, right? So you can sit there and look around and assess your environment and say, well, shit, this is a shitty environment I'm in.
This
But
is
until
a
you fix up here,
demonstration of Wirecast.
until you're willing to, you know, tell yourself what your negative states are, or tell yourself what you're always negative about, or come into truth with yourself that, you know what, I've limited myself every single time I've had a chance to take advantage of an opportunity because I was lazy, because I'd rather go party, because I'd rather go do things. You know,
you could live in a shitty environment to others, but to you, it's wonderful.
Right.
Because in your head, you're not stuck in
that.
Right, right. And it also, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be the people around you. It's just maybe the state you grew up in. Maybe it's limited. Maybe it's capping your dreams when your dreams are meant to explode and be limitless. And like for our instance, that's what it was. Hawaii, we love it. We love the people there, the culture, the food, you know, born and raised there, public school out there. I even went to private school out there. You start to realize when you have bigger dreams,
This is a demonstration
that's
of
going to propel you
Wirecast.
to unlimited heights of success. Hawaii restricts that. It's sad to say that, but it restricts that. And what we wanted was to go beyond the walls, to go beyond the limitations that was set for us. We weren't running away from anything. It wasn't specific people that made us move. It was, shit, we deserve this. How do we get to this?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We got to do something drastic, something that's going to just shake us to the core, scare the living shit out of us.
Yeah.
And guess what that was?
Getting
Packing
out of
up
there.
everybody and moving.
Yeah.
It wasn't an uncalculated risk. You know, people talk about, well, you know, you got to always take a risk. You'll never know until you take a risk. I get that, but everything that I've come to understand from people that have, you know, that are in the financial status that we want to be in, every risk has been a calculated risk.
Right.
There has always been an end game to the risk.
Wirecast.
Now, no risk.
You always cap your downside.
Right.
There's always unlimited upside, but you always cap your downside. All these guys like Richard Branson, oh, he's such a risk taker. He doesn't take these big risks you think he does. He caps his downside so that when if there is losses, they're so minuscule, especially compared to the potential upside.
Right. You know, and it's you know, with risk pertaining to risks, You know, with me and him, we asked ourselves the hard questions. We had a plan, and any risk, just the term itself, there's no guarantee of something positive happening, but you won't know until you go.
Yeah.
But you limit your pain by looking at it objectively and sitting there going, okay, what is the plan? What's the plan? And that's why, you know, partnerships work with people that know each other a long time. Some people say, well, you can't work with your friends. You can't work with your friends if they think alike.
Or your ego's too big.
If their ego is too big, they're not willing to communicate, they're not willing to listen, they're not willing to change, not willing to objectively look at things, you know, that's a problem. When I mean alike, they don't know how to break away from the same problems that they're creating.
Right.
They're furthering the problems. If you've got a friend that sits there and goes, yep, yeah,
sounds good. Yeah, that'll work.
You know, you guys seen Entourage?
Yeah. Yep.
In some shape or form, doesn't matter the money that you've got, you've all got an entourage. You've all got people that sit there and because you got something they want, either a better life, friendship, money, they become instant yes men.
Yep.
And the second that you, where are they?
Bye.
Oh, you got money again. Oh, you got your car back. Oh, you got a better house.
Hey!
Yes, right? But the second you lose your shit, where are they? That's the kind of people you kind of go into business with. And this is how you can figure this out. If you've got a problem that you know the answer to, that is truthful to you, because it hurts, and you ask your friend that you're possibly thinking about going into business with, and they give you the bullshit answer, and you know it's a bullshit answer, because they just go along with the process, or they just don't want to hurt your feelings. That's somebody that you can maintain as a friend, because sometimes, hey, we all need that one or two people like that just to break up the monotony of things, but you can't go into business with them. So getting back to like with me and Tyson, you know, we do think different.
Yeah.
But we forged a relationship through 25 years, something around there,
like that,
to get to this point. And it's like any relationship, domestic or partnerships like this, or partnerships in the domestic sense too, because now it's a term that's passed around. Yeah, but
it's got multiple meanings nowadays.
But it's a process of learning each other. It's a process of communication. It's a process of individual growing.
Thoughtful disagreement.
Best
idea wins.
And me and him were fit for this radical change, this radical destiny. You know, I've never been to the mainland. He has. You know, I've never been to Arizona. He has. You know, I sold my house to make this thing happen. And I don't regret any of that. You know, maybe I should, but that's why. But that's for the people that have run away from the problem, that they actually miss Hawaii, miss the people, miss the environment, miss the limited lifestyle.
They left for the wrong reasons.
They left for the wrong reasons. I don't look at that way, you know. And there's other reasons why I sold the house, but at the end of the day, it was, you know what, something, impact. Either we do it now or we're going to die.
Yeah.
That was my mentality.
Yeah, we'll never go.
You know, I got tired of pipe dreaming. I used to sit in my garage with friends, developing business plans with multiple people. And we had some great fucking ideas, but the problem was we didn't have enough knowledge, growth, mentorship, or understanding on how to get off of our fucking resource problem and actually be resourceful, because we had too many anchor points of people who were anchor points, who were nothing but pain in the asses.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Influenced us, and this is where we take extreme ownership, because we went along with the plans, who influenced us to not follow through, to not be organized, to not be committed, to give up on it because we'll go potty.
Right, yeah.
We'll go drink beer.
To the beach, yeah.
We'll go snappa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Which is why we had to leave.
I mean, a lot of people don't know the story. We sat down 2 years before we left and put a plan together. We met many nights at Starbucks down in Cop Way. Not to pipe dream anymore. He had a definitive plan that eventually was fluid and changed, but he had an ultimate goal of, look, this is our reason why we need to get the fuck out of here. And when he explained that reason to me, and of course, through the course of the next few years, that final meeting that I had with him, that emotion, that believability,
it's time.
I was sold. It literally was. You will know the moment like this when something needs to get done, or when a risk needs to be taken, or when you have to follow your gut. But it takes communication, it takes process, it takes developing an idea. And he brought the idea to the table. Even though me and him would fight a lot more than anybody else, is because we cared.
Right.
We knew at the end of the day, when we weren't bullshitting with our own crews or bullshitting with the people that we knew mutually, that if we needed somebody real to talk to, a real friend, to be emotional, to give thoughtful and real advice, we would talk to each other.
Right.
But we allowed other people, other circumstances, other beliefs that we adopted throughout high school. We were dependent on these people for emotional support. But what we didn't realize what we were doing was we were depending on these people for emotional stress.
Right.
They were literally the root, and I don't care if they get mad about this, but it's honest to God truth. When we sat back objectively, we realized that, what? We are a hell of a lot smarter than what we're fucking doing right now. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of being, us, me and him, we were being labeled as, really, those two?
Yeah, right.
They're doing what?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they put out children's books? Man, they must be fucking around up there.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is a fraud.
Yeah.
We've had that, and not going to mention names, but the reality is, I put out children's books, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I have several on Amazon. This is not me for a shameless plug on it, but this is just being absolutely true.
Head over to Amazon. Just search for his name.
We had friends that sat there after we had changed our lives, and done the things, and moved up here.
We self-published 3 books. We have a 4th that's
on the way and whatnot. And we told them just to say, hey, could you guys give us a little support? And they sat there, yeah, sure, fantastic, we will. And then through the grapevine, because in Hawaii and probably in any other states, this, it'll somehow trickle back to you when shit happens.
Yeah.
These same friends sat there and said, really?
Yeah.
What are these two up to? Are they inside some type of con?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
No. So you know what? We accepted it. It's part of the learning process. Mm-hmm. And that reaffirmed, this is why I'm telling the story, that reaffirmed our reason to move.
Right.
Look, if we didn't have kids, would we have made this move? Who knows? Probably it's 50-50 because we were...
It would have probably taken longer to eventually have done it.
That's my personal opinion, and I think you feel the same way, is that it would have taken
because that's what did it for me. I was like...
We didn't have children.
Yeah, but when we did, though, our kids are a few months apart, and, I had mine, and then, a few months later he had his, and it was like, I can't do this anymore.
Got to go beyond.
It's like, if I want a better life for my son, it ain't going to be here, because we're just going to be like everybody else and get caught up in the hanging out, going to the beach, get a good job, maybe with the state or whatever, and then just do your 9 to 5, and then and life is gravy. I just couldn't do it no more. I was like, this is not what I want, and I got to stop getting sucked into this life. And when my son was, born, that's when I said, never again, no more. This stops. It ends.
This is a
and that's when I think, and then shortly after your son was born, and that's kind of as this kind of plan started hatching, and it's got to getting more and more real. I think.
Well, for me, it was having my son because my oldest Tristan was born in Hawaii.
Yeah.
My other 2 children were born up here, but that was the final reinforcer.
Mm-hmm.
What really set things in motion was, number 1, the meetings I had with Tyson, and number 2, the job that I worked at, you know, I bumped into a lot of friends from, you know, back in elementary days. Back, you know, they were my age, in a better position, in a better point in their life. You know, I bumped into one of my friends, and he told me he was an engineer. I just flat out just sunk. You know, I'm like, you're a fucking engineer and you're making $100,000 a year. What the fuck am I doing with myself? I'm here. I mean, I love the place I worked at. All those guys are family to me, and I will never forget the memories that they gave me. Some of the confidence they reinstilled in me. Even at the job that I worked in between at the high school, you know, they left lasting impressions on me. But soul searching, I was disappointed in myself because after my grandfather died, you know, I didn't take enough initiative to, you know, live out what he had planned for me. Now, he didn't have a specific thing he wanted me to do. He just wanted me to be great at whatever I did, and he supported me. And I'll explain the lengths of the support. When my uncle graduated from college, my uncle sent his diploma back home. Fancy framed the whole thing. And it was the same time that I got my lifeguarding license. And my grandfather framed the lifeguarding license and hung it up on his wall in his room and put the college diploma for my uncle in a trash bag in his closet. And part of it possibly was anger and frustration towards my uncle.
10 years later, this is all I got.
But, well, it could be many things, just initial frustration, but at the same time, no matter what my uncle did, my grandfather was always proud.
Yeah.
Always proud. Failure or not, always proud. You know, when it came to me and my father, it wasn't the same. But I came to understand it after he passed, and after reflecting on certain things, that he's old school. The harder he was on you, the more he loved you, the more he believed in you. So the times I sat there, I thought, man, he's a fucking prick.
Yeah.
What an asshole. Now I sit there looking back on all the lessons he instilled in me and all the little things. Like I said, him framing my rinky-dink fucking certificate. It wasn't even a certificate. It was an actual card license that said, I am a certified lifeguard, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, it's those little things I look back and I go, now I get it. And, you know, moving up here and taking those risks, you know, that has been part of my purpose, was to fulfill the legacy he had for me, which was he wanted me to get focused, which he wouldn't tell me, which I wish he would have, but he wanted me to get focused, and he wanted me to provide a better life than what he had, because he gave up so much for so little for so long. That's a tough equation. So much for so little for so long, and that's the sad story of many of our families, you know, grandparents, aunties, uncles, you know, what you right now. And the sad part is a lot of the parents our age are in that process of doing the exact same thing because they don't want to let go of paradise. And they have their reasons, and I get it and whatnot. But for me and Tyson, we had a higher calling, and that was
purpose.
You know, the purpose was, what do I want to provide for my wife and my child at that point in time? So after talking with Tyson, after reevaluating my life, after looking at my child's situation, I had to talk with my wife, because at the end of the day, it wasn't just me and him and our kids moving up. It was him and his girlfriend and 2 kids, me, my wife, and my son, and me having to sell off everything. They having to leave everybody to make this move. I had to talk to my wife, and she has stood by me like a rock for 20 years. And I'm thankful, because the lessons that she's imparted onto me, whether she knows it or not, is the driving force for me actually tipping off the cliff at times. You know, her faith, not faithfulness. She's always had that. Her faith in my abilities that I sometimes fail to see is the same thing that my grandfather used to do with me. and
This
she
is
doesn't
a
know that. I've never
demonstration
told
of
her that.
Wirecast.
But I had to speak with her, and without hesitation, you know, there was no, oh, but our friends, oh, but this, oh, because she had plenty of friends that she didn't want to leave. She had
family.
She had a comfortable job, didn't pay well, but that job was a comfortable environment. It was family. It was the right culture, because that's what's practicing nowadays is culture fit. Back then, culture fit was a relatively new term,
If
and
at all.
if at all. And she,
This is a
you
demonstration
know,
of
without
Wirecast.
hesitation, said, "Sure, let's do it."
Shout out to
Was
Smalls.
she? Yep. Shout out to my wife, Kathy. I love you to death. She was scared. I ain't gonna lie, and it didn't really hit us until we got to the airport. We were like excited. Yes, we're gonna start a new life, and we kind of had a plan. We had something set up in Arizona. A lot of in betweens because we were flying into Arizona with an animal,
Dead of
and
summer.
you can't fly into Arizona with an animal because of plane restrictions. So we had to fly to LA. And this is our first time to the mainland.
This
We had a
is
young child
demonstration
being
of
on a
Wirecast.
7-hour
Dog,
flight. Scary as fuck. When we got to the airport at Honolulu International Airport, it didn't sink in until half an hour. We were sitting there, and right when they called our flight number,
Now boarding.
that breath just went.
Bye-bye.
Wow, because we were sitting there for the whole half hour going, this is the best move.
It's
You know,
fun.
we got this.
Yeah.
You know what? This is the right thing. We're really convincing ourselves and trying to,
Hype yourselves up.
well, not only hype ourselves up, but really
This is a
cement that the decision we
demonstration
made
of
was
Wirecast.
The right thing,
was the
yeah.
right thing to do. And then we're all excited, and then all of a sudden it said our boarding flight, and we went,
We still got time to get off,
Wow.
change our minds, right?
you know, and I'm not going to lie, the whole flight, you know, I was just telling myself, this is going to work, this is going to work, this is going to work. We landed in LA. That was an experience catching a cab. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Just imagine you've got a Greek guy, kind of big, bald, fat,
This is a
stinky,
demonstration
and
of
as he's driving
Wirecast.
through the streets of LA, getting up to Sunset Boulevard, the whole time he's like this, looking at you, and he's going, "Don't worry, don't worry, I'll get you there, I'll get you there." And we're over here like, "Oh shit, oh shit, a car, oh, okay." He goes, "No, don't worry, I'll get you there, okay." Fuck, I'll kick your ass if you don't. But it was worth it. Those experiences from when we landed to when we got to Arizona to when they came up 6 months later to where we are right now, everything has
This is a
been,
demonstration of Wirecast.
you know, whether it was suffering or not, it's been an enjoyable step because it's a growth process, and that's what we get into the point of, you know, environments and stuff. You have to really sometimes be that drastic. It's how bad do you want what you deserve?
Yeah.
And me and him really honestly believe that we finally got it.
Yeah.
That shit, although we may not have it at the exact level yet, we are on that path accelerating right now.
Right.
Prior to this, we have been SpaceX
This is a
planning
demonstration of Wirecast.
and sitting there waiting for the permits, waiting for the fucking fuselage to be tacked on. Now the rocket is just going like this. And we hope you guys are prepared because, you know, this show is intended to provide that value that we're going to give you, and it's just phenomenal.
We want you guys to join us on our journey. Not only where we have already been, but where we're going.
And it's like what I talked about my friend Chance last night. The reason why a lot of therapy goes wrong, or a lot of these other meetings go wrong, is because the academics in those positions are not speaking from a anchor point of pain. Most of the times, those therapists, those licensed physicians, and I'm not knocking them, sometimes those are needed depending on how badly you want to deal with your issue, if you want to kind of prolong it, or if you want to make an instant impact, which is what we do.
Yeah.
You know, those therapists are good, but most of them don't come from your situation. Just like teachers, most of them don't understand. They may work in a broke school that's in a broke neighborhood, but they came from an affluent family that still lives in a nice suburb. They don't understand your pain. They don't understand what you're anchoring your beliefs to. They don't understand your process.
It's all theoretical book knowledge.
Exactly.
So no practicality.
So like with the therapist, they sit there and they diagnose your problem based off of theories, based off of stuff they've read.
This is a
tell me about your thing.
of Wirecast.
Right.
It's here.
And it's like a doctor diagnosing you and giving you medication that really doesn't fix your shit.
It's just like a shoulder sore. Oh, here, take a shoulder sore pain.
Yeah, and they come
back. Why is my shoulder sore?
Right. It's just short-term fixes. Yeah. So, I told Chance, I said, and the other people that were listening last night, that you want to have somebody coaching you or mentoring you or giving you advice that has walked the path you have or harder, or has experienced the same level of pain that you're currently experiencing, such as if you've got PTSD from war, and you're living with those nightmares and you're living with, those reoccurring memories.
Shout out to the veterans. Thank you.
And thank God, thank you for your service. Thank you for the blanket of freedom that, that you
allows us to have this show.
That allows us to be here today. You guys can't go talk to a therapist that doesn't know your situation. Now, it doesn't mean you got to go find somebody that's been through the war yourself. But you got to find somebody that can associate the same pain to what you're going through, and they can give you a different perspective on how to reach out for that life raft when you're drowning. It takes more than just having moral support and somebody to call. At some point, if you really want to move on, you can't just cope. You have to learn to embrace
this
and
a demonstration of
more than manage, but balance it in your life with what you really want, because that pain will never leave, and that's the honest to God truth. Those memories will never disappear, but they can become very, very manageable based on your perception, based on how you see the situation. Now, granted, we are not clinical psychologists, but because we have been through some very hard times with some very hard people and hard situations, we have friends that are in it. We've helped friends go through it themselves. We have been around veterans. He's a veteran himself. We've been through the mix, okay? We can be in this position and talk about it from an objective standpoint, not just analytical. And mind you, I am getting my degree in psychology and whatnot, but all that is just fluff. Our knowledge, like he said in last night's episode, that wasn't reflected because the sound didn't come through, was that we have our PhDs technically in life, and we can work through the scenarios because we understand that at the end of the day, it's not an overnight fix. That it's a process of accepting, facing, feeling, and having somebody there that's not going to allow you to run. They're going to hold that shoulder back and say, hey, keep walking. Keep walking, because you know what? Back that way is no good. You go back that way, you ain't going to make it.
Right.
But if we go this way and we push through, you know what I mean? I like movie references. This is like Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, when the lady had to go into that tunnel and reach into that hole and pull the lever and had all the centipedes and all the bugs, and she didn't want to do it, but if she did it, it would have bad outcomes. Indiana Jones would be dead. And she reached in, pulled it, all the bugs came out, it saved Indiana Jones at that point in time. It's the same thing. Take that analogy. It's the same thing in life. You're going to have pain either way, but one's going to have more of a severe consequence than the other. And if you're going to have to deal with pain either way, fuck it. Keep going forward. Why waste your time backpedaling when you're going to sit there years later regretting or realizing, I got to walk through this anyways, and you got to repeat the process. Fuck no.
But all that's in the past.
Forward.
You're not in the now. You're not living now.
Right.
You're not moving forward.
Right.
That already happened. It's over with. The more you sit around and think about it and reflect on it, it's not going to change what already happened. You've got to move forward.
Yeah, and we can sit there and people will say, well, it's not that easy.
You don't know what it's like.
You don't know what it's like. You know what? Like I mentioned the other night. Yeah, I know the pits of despair. I know how low it can get when people don't love you, when people don't understand you. I know how it feels to wake up with nightmares because of situations, because of things that have happened to you as a child, as an adult. You know,
This is a
sitting there
demonstration of
losing days, having it
Wirecast.
affect loved ones. Yeah, I know the pain. I've been there. I've hung on by a thread, and it took work. It took realization. It didn't happen overnight, but it took mentoring. It took coaching. It took socializing. It took faith. It took the understanding that if I want a better life, I have to get after it. I can't make excuses. You know, and I don't talk about my problems.
This is a
I like some people
demonstration
who
of
love to chatterbox every
Wirecast.
day about their problems. That's fine. That's you. But for me, I don't. I think recently in the last year or so is when this is the most I've talked about issues. I don't. I'm very private because I've always felt that my problems, no matter how severe they might be, compared to others, aren't as bad.
Right.
And I would rather have, I would rather make them happy than me focusing on my shit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, shit, you woke up this morning. Some people haven't.
yeah,
This
and
is a
it's
demonstration
tough.
of
And then we get phone
Wirecast.
calls, people dying, people doing this, and it's tough. You find out loved ones have cancer and they're dying, and you're like, how to process that?
Yeah.
You know, but when you start putting things in perspective, you know, you start to feel that you have to accomplish those things, and you can't let those other things affect it, or affect it as much. You have to take it as it comes. And then that's kind of like managing it, and that's why with us and why we had this eureka moment and started this company
This is a
of being
demonstration of
transformational
Wirecast.
shapers, is that we want to provide value, and I'm getting a lot of questions about that, like what is Win the War from Within all about? And you know what, we are not your typical personal development people. We are not coaches, because coaches are there to provide motivation and inspiration, and I've always believed that if we have to continue to motivate you and provide inspiration, you're not self-motivating yourself, you are an inch away from an excuse,
This is a
okay?
demonstration of
And you
Wirecast.
are very close to failure because you can't activate yourself.
And if you're not a self-motivator type person, you then need to find somebody to hold you accountable, so that you can do the things you want to do. Some people, like Justin and sometimes myself, we can hold ourselves accountable to these things. There are people that just can't. You've got to recognize
This
that.
is
Like,
a
you know what? I
demonstration
always
of
hear this.
Wirecast.
Oh, I gotta just do it, and you just gotta suck it up. And if you tried that and that's not the type of person you are, recognize that it's okay. Nothing's wrong with you. You're not a failure. You're not a loser. You're not a lost cause or a lost hope or whatever. Go get the person or people that are going to hold you accountable and help you through to your journey and to your destination and to your goal.
Right.
We have a group, if you'd like to join, like-minded people that can help you, hold you
This is a
accountable, and make it
demonstration
happen.
of Wirecast.
Go find a coach, go find a mentor, and it doesn't have to be this type of one-on-one mentorship. You can be mentored afar or, vicariously through other things you see and do. But find the people that's going to hold you accountable and make you get to where you need to go.
Yeah, my thing with like networking, relationships, getting out of your funk, getting out of your piss and wallow of, oh my God, people don't love me, oh, I don't have enough friends. Well, go find friends.
Yeah.
You can't fix your problem until you
This
fix it.
is a demonstration
I mean, it
of
sounds
Wirecast.
stupid.
And listen, if you're at the point where you're like, I don't have friends, good. You've identified something. Now the next step, what is the solution? And if you don't know, that's acceptable.
Yep.
That's fine. There's a lot of shit we don't know. That's great.
Yep.
We can ask Google. We can ask somebody else. We can ask the internet. We can ask. You've identified it. Now take a step. I don't give a shit what step it is. Take a step. Do something.
No, exactly. So like what I was alluding
This
to
is
was,
a demonstration of Wirecast.
if you don't got friends and you're lonely, and most of our depression stems from that we don't have people that understand us. There are people out there. I know you hear this a lot, but you don't have to seek counselors. Go join a bowling group.
Yeah.
Go join a reading club.
Hey, check out acro yoga. I love it.
Go do yoga and meditation. You know, people say, well, it's kind of weak and whatnot. Well, it does work.
But the people there, that's what you're looking for.
It's about community. It's about socializing. It's about talking with people. You know, go to Facebook. Sign up for Facebook. Yeah. Put yourself out there. Because even if you were to fail, it can't feel half as bad as you feel right now. Yeah. So put yourself out there. Yeah. Join our group. Win the war from within. Yeah. You know, there's always somebody you can talk to, and when you have the right people, you're not expected to call or respond right away or hit them up every time. It's whenever you have a lingering question or a thought, or you are just mulling in a state of mind that's not positive, you know, it's okay to reach out and say, hey, you know, how you doing today? Simple things like that. You know, get out and live your life. Get out and take the first steps. Go outside in the morning and take the breath in of the first light. See the sun, breathe the air in. Just make the steps to move on with your life. And networking is so huge because in order for you to innovate, in order for you to create sustainability in anything you do in life, in order for you to find consistent growth, you have to be around a network of people, whether they're friends or they become friends or they become family to you or they just become business associates that are going to keep it real with you, but also provide you the empathy that you seek. Okay? Not sympathy. Sympathy, all that grows is the same bullshit you have now.
More excuses and wallowing.
It's coping. Empathy, they listen, they understand objectively, and they diagnose and they tell you what you need to do to keep your ass moving forward because they care. Yeah. It's not because they're being malice. It's not because they're being resentful. It's not because they fucking hate you talking to them. When they give you harsh criticism, like, you know what, yeah, you are dumb for doing that when you should be doing this, they are looking out for your future. Find those friends and network, because if you don't network, unless you have this is pertaining to business or whatnot, unless you have a fantastic product, and even with life itself, personal issues, unless you have a fantastic life and a fantastic product that are perfect, which both don't exist, then you're not going to survive.
But even let's say you do have the perfect product. You can't get it out to the people. You can't connect with the people that it's going to serve and fulfill their needs and wants and desires. It don't mean shit.
Then it's not a perfect product because you haven't learned to bridge that gap on how to get that product out there. The same thing with your personal issues, right? We strive to be perfect because that's what we were told to do. You know, ace this, do that, follow this. Oh, failure is bad. We talked about this in our first episode. But the truth is, when you're talking about all those little things and those failures and whatnot, there is no such thing as perfect.
No.
We're chasing a myth. Mm-hmm. We got to chase the idea of coming close to perfect. And that means continually emptying your cup of knowledge, continually seeking growth. Because in order for you to be completely fulfilled, you have to be completely empty.
Yeah.
You have to continually feed.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you build towards being perfect. But as far as achieving perfect, to me, my definition of perfect is when you die and you've lived a life of fulfillment, then it's perfect because you're gone. You have filled your last cup.
Of Wirecast.
You are happy, you are in bliss, everything's acceptable. That's perfect. But living to be perfect in relationships, this person has to be the perfect person. And I said this the other night, it's not true. You don't in personal love relationships, it's not about finding the perfect person, it's about making the relationship perfect. And you got to work at that every single day. But most people tend to blame their spouse. Well, they're not perfect enough.
They
have a flaw. Well, motherfucker, the flaw was there when you first went out with them. And the reality is the flaw you see in them is the flaw you see in yourself. You seen Shallow Hal?
Yeah.
Another movie reference?
Yeah.
Honest to God truth. It's not hypnotizing. It's not any of that bullshit. When Tony Robbins was in that film, it was honest to God truth.
Yeah.
What you focus on is what you see, is what you believe, is what you become.
Yep.
So if you think this girl is ugly because she's fat or because she's got freckles or whatever the fuck it is, that's your perception, because what you think is ugly, when you let that go, 20 guys are lined up to take that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a Lawrence Fishburne movie back in the day. I can't remember the title of it right now, but it was based out of L.A. He just got out of jail in the film, and his friend had a wife who was a beautiful, gorgeous wife, and he never showed her attention. They were married a long time, this and that. And all of a sudden, the wife disappears. She just took off and ran away, right, or whatever, went to her mother's house. So the guy goes over to Lawrence Fishburne's house and starts blaming him, saying, "What, you fucking my wife?
Yeah, right.
Motherfucker, you're my friend.
It's your fault, yeah."
And he goes, "You know what? Maybe I should be fucking
your wife. Because you're not, apparently."
You know? You should be happy that fucking woman kicks you in your ass and kisses you on your fucking forehead. I would be thankful every single day, because if you don't do that, there's 10 other brothers lined up right now who will fucking do that in a heartbeat.
Right.
Who will do that in a heartbeat. Family Man, Nicolas Cage, same scenario. Bowling alley. He's talking about hooking up with that
other chick,
with the neighborhood chick who's been buying snow tires from him for the past fucking 10 years because she wants to. Right. And he was, because it wasn't him, because he was in this altered state. He asked his friend, just, hey, put the phone number down, put the address down so I can go see her. And the friend said, "Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Any guy in this state would give their left nut for your wife.
Right.
What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Because they were shallow. So what you project outwardly is actually who you are inwardly. And you have to work on that. And if you find yourself being absolutely negative in networking situations, in relationships, in whatever else, sometimes you have to understand that it's not the environment. It's you are the environment. You are the one carrying the garbage with you. And if you don't want that to continue, go home, put in some work, get some help, and figure out, how the fuck can I change this? You know? Now, some people out there are like, "Oh, but you guys swear a lot and this and that." You know what? This is us being honest, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, we're not like these other guys that are pumping you with motivation. How we talk like this is how we actually talk in real life, because we care. This is not a persona. This is not a facade. This is not, I'm trying to win you as my friend, because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to provide value and help. In order for me to get my point across about networking and relationships, just because they swear doesn't mean they're bringing a negative environment.
Right, yeah.
It's their attitude. Like somebody that goes in there that's closed-minded. You read about this in Principles in principle number 3. There's either open-minded or closed-minded people. And closed-minded people are the ones that go into a situation and they don't listen to anybody. They're judgmental. Their opinions are always correct. And at the end of the day, they tell you, "You know what, fuck you," and they leave.
Yeah.
Though that's bad.
No, we don't want to be that.
That's bad. So that's not what we are.
Right.
And that's the kind of things you have to understand about, like I said, relationships, networking, and environments, and how this all ties in. It's, don't judge the little things, the perceptions, the whatnot. With me and my tattoos and whatnot, right? I've come to find out that with the people I do for rideshare, most of them that are millionaires have tattoos all over. Have an alternate lifestyle, but they have to live or be outwardly a certain way to carry on that perception, because of their status. And unlike other rideshare drivers, I don't wear a shirt and tie because I want to break down the perceptions, the barriers that people have with me. And I've gotten a lot of great conversations out of it, great results, because they sit there, and I've had some of them tell me that their initial reaction to me or thought of me was that, "Hey, did they do my background check because I look like I got out of prison?" And they tell me, "Oh, at first it was this, and oh God, now that we found out you went to school, oh that's awesome, you go to a great school." And I'm like, wow, okay. It's beliefs that we've carried on and whatnot that just fester and they just keep moving forward, keep carrying on. So in order to break those things down, you gotta be as honest as you can, be as real as you can. This is all leading back to relationships and networking. In order for you to have a long-term networking relationship or a long-term physical relationship with a spouse or whatnot, it's better to come original and to come as you are in the beginning.
Yeah.
You can still do the chocolate, you can still do the flowers, you can still do the dinner dates, you can still do all of that little things.
If that's you.
Well, if that's you, but you know, you can still do all of that, but at the end of the day, if you are really hiding who you are just because you're trying to get some, if you're looking for a long-term after, or if you're just looking for a relationship because you're lonely, you're not really looking at this person as somebody that can be with you long-term and be a partner with you, that this person only fills a void, that's a temporary thinking, that's bad. Come as honest as you are and as real as you are, and if they can't accept that, then move on. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But you can fix your problems by getting out of there. Now, is it possible to have both networking relationships and less desirable relationships? And less desirable relationships are the people we tell you to walk away from, the ones that are anchor points, that weigh your ship down, that sink you. And you know who they are.
The negative people,
just can't be afraid to say who they are. But is it possible to have both a networking relationship and a desirable relationship?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you got to understand when and how to split your time between the two, or or even eliminating them from your life, whether it be friends and family, colleagues, and different things like that. Sometimes you've got to know that like this being around this person or in this group or whatever it be. If I'm around this for too long of a time, I start to get into their negative vibration, and that starts to bring you down. You ever get around somebody that's pissed off or whatever, and all of a sudden you're mad. Like, I wasn't even mad at anything, but because you're pissed off and you're mad, that energy comes to you. And the same thing, you come around somebody, you're maybe not having such a good day, and you come around somebody that's having a great day and they're super happy, that energy is infectious as well. So with those, relationships, when you come across those two sets of people, you've got to understand, especially if you have to know them, that this is a less desirable relationship to be in and people to be around. You've got to limit your time, if not completely eliminate it, if possible. You've got to go into that situation knowing, listen, normally about, let's just say, an hour into hanging out with these people or person, I start to morph into their thing and their negativities and whatever it is that is, not serving you. You've got to know, listen, okay, I'm going to meet this, this person, whether it be a family, a friend, or colleague, and I know after this amount of time, I've got to leave. And you've got to set that intention ahead of time. So when you go into this relationship and into this setting, listen, I want to be here for an hour and I'm out of here, no matter what's happening. Because I can't fall victim to this. I can't, be that. And then, try and plan the bulk of your time around people that build you up, that are where you want to be and do what you want to do and all these different things along those lines.
Yeah, it's possible to have a symbiotic relationship between the less desirable and those that you want to be around, whether that be networking or personal relationships or whatnot. And we have an 80-20 rule for that. And we tell people that, try to spend 20% of your time max with those undesirable. And pick and choose your spots. If it's at a point in time when you're in the midst of something that's building towards your goals, and you might not want to be cruising with those people, because even just a moment with them might deter your actual acceleration towards your goal, because you might be consumed with their problem or something that they said that all of a sudden picks at
just second guessing yourself or something. You go off track from your vision.
Exactly. So pick and choose your spots, but our 80-20 rule is 80% of your time spent with those that you want to be around, that is furthering your new life, your what I deserve life, and spend 20% max. Try to spend at least
or less,
or less than 20% with those that are undesirable. If that means missing out on family parties, oh well.
So be it.
If that means cruising with your friends, missing out on that, oh well.
So
even little things that maybe like it's a positive, like going golfing with them. You're not obligated to finish the 9 or the 18 holes that you play. If you find yourself being put in a negative state again, say, hey guys, I gotta go. I have a meeting. I'm sorry. Don't get sucked into that vortex of bullshit, because it'll just be the tipping point that will derail your dreams again. And all you can blame is yourself, and you don't want to do that. So keep all that in mind. Understand that biggest thing you can do with networking and relationships is understand the foundational rule of communication.
This is
if you are not absolutely upfront and honest in a polite manner, you don't have to be abrasive when you're honest. You can be objectively honest by inserting your opinion when asked, but being absolutely honest about it.
Right.
So don't, we're trying to really explain this because sometimes people have a tendency to say, well, they said be absolutely honest. No. In order for communication to work, you have to make sure that both are willing to be receptors.
This is a demonstration.
In order to do that, it is at times a cat and mouse game. It is a battle of who's alpha. But if you're trying to get to the ultimate goal of solving the problem or making that person realize that there is a problem, you won't make them realize that by talking to them when they got deaf ears, talking to them when they automatically put their wall up. You got to find a way to subtly introduce it. Hopefully it segues to you introducing it. And when you introduce it, you have to be as thoughtful as possible, coupled with being honest. And if you get skilled at doing that, that is how you become a skilled negotiator. That is how you become skilled at persuasion, because you know how to Jedi mind trick these people into understanding and hearing and eventually believing what you had told them without them fighting you and not accepting what you're saying within the first 3 to 5 seconds. So if you're going to practice communication, practice listening.
Yes.
Practice thoughtful listening. So if you want to say, let's say you find out that your friend has an issue and you want to help your friend, but you know this friend is very abrasive, very negative, very unapproachable at times, the best way to do it is let them start the conversation. So you go and say, hey, how's your day going? Hey, when anything happening, what's going on? Keep that tone, keep that peacefulness. And next thing you know, they're going to lead themselves into the question you want to ask them.
Right.
And when it gets to that point, by that time it's massaged already. The conversation is percolating, and there is a chance for it to escalate higher. But if you maintain that level of tone, that level of understanding, and you have that type of relationship, it won't ever get to that point because you'll find a way through your words and your tone to circle it back to your main point. And if you're providing points and not just bullshit, gossip and opinions and whatever else, they'll understand and they'll process that. But communication is essential, whether it's a networking thing, a business thing, or especially in relationships. It's so easy to pop off at the mouth and be angry and whatnot. And it doesn't matter the length of the relationship. You have to learn to not only value yourself, but value that other person. And if you find out that their values are far away from where you are and where you want to be, I don't care how good the sex is. I don't care how good the certain dates are. I don't care how pretty she is, how handsome he looks. It's not going to work out, and it's just going to be a shitstorm. That means that person is not your door. Your key is not meant to be with that door. So let it go. Find something new, because sometimes the relationships that you're in your personal relationships, are major hindrance to you achieving your goals. And some people are like, well, that's selfish to think that way. No.
You've got to be selfish.
If you want a better life, that support system has to be there. And it has to be there in a positive and negative way. The negative way is by them being absolutely honest with you that, hey, honey, I don't think this is going to work. Okay, why? And you better have good reasons why, not just saying, it's my feelings.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
My friend did that and it didn't work out for her.
Right, it's like, honey, maybe you should stop this entrepreneurial thing already. Okay, why? And you start getting abrasive, why? And then she goes and says, well, because you've been doing this for a year. How many clients have you picked up? Right. Well, I haven't picked up any. Okay, how much product have you sold? Haven't sold. Okay, or like real estate, right? This house has been on the market 6 months. I think we should start lowering the price and upping it. Oh, I don't want to lower the price. I know what the house is worth. This is the value. Okay, how much are we spending a month holding that house?
Right.
How much is our savings? How much of our savings is left?
Right.
there's at some point going to be a balancing effect. And if you don't want the scales to tip in a negative way, you've got to make those hard decisions in that short time frame. And that's why you have to have a good support system. And a good support system is somebody that's going to kiss you on your head when you're correct and kick you in your ass when you're wrong.
Right.
But they're going to work with you, they're going to understand with you, they're going to empathize with you. And then you have to do your part in understanding that, you know what, sometimes it is a lost cause, or maybe I need to move into a different direction. I need to oscillate.
Oh, pivot. That's the fancy word now.
Pivot, but I like to use the word oscillate. Move when you have to.
Right.
Right, not because you're forced to.
Right.
And if you see it ahead of time, which is things that we'll work on, you know, through these social comedian episodes and through our actual physical program, are things that you'll come to believe is second nature or come to understand. You know, but communication is key, understanding is key, knowing yourself is key, and that's the best way to understand your relationships, your networking, finding out your anchor points. It's all evaluating yourself when it comes to your environment, when it comes to what your current beliefs are, because it stems from a previous belief. It's always rooted to something. All this is self-evaluation, and it's a big word, self-awareness. Mm-hmm. And that takes coaching, that takes deep insight, that really does take somebody mapping it out for you so that you understand, you know, why the process is the way it is and why I am the way I am right now. And if you are comfortable with who you are, we're not trying to change everybody. I'm under no impression that I'm going to affect and change everybody. I want to affect and change those that want to seek change, right, that want to have that I deserve this life, yes, and aren't just going to sit there and just let it fall in their lap because they use the secret to put it out there into the universe because they think God's going to reward me because I have been faithful. God rewards those who work for it. That's why he puts you through hard times. This is a demonstration of Wirecast. Okay? He's not telling you sit there and pray as hard as you can. I'm going to come down and give you the life you want. No. When you sit there and you pray for the life that you want, you're either going to focus on it and go after it, or you're going to fill yourself up with bullshit and blame when it doesn't happen. Yeah. So keep those things in mind. Do you have any book recommendations? Oh, if you guys got any questions.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
At some time, you know, the next few episodes, we'll start taking questions live on the show. But for now, if you've got questions that you want us to address, and it could be anything, throw anything at us. Yeah. That's not, you know, that's real personal development or business development things. We will gladly address those on the next episode. Yeah. And we will
or live in on Instagram. Whether it's, you know, on a post or in the stories or through direct messaging, right. On the Facebook, either of our personal pages if you have access to that. Right. But absolutely always at Win the War Within, Win the War from Within on, you know, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, however you want to get a hold of us. We're in there. If not, maybe, you know, you post it in there. Others can help and chime in and stuff. Right. Those are always, it goes to the site. You can get on the email.
Yeah, email us. I mean, to get fast access to us, go to winthewarfromwithin.com. You know, you can schedule everything with us. If you're looking at coaching, if you're looking at us coming down to do a seminar or a speaking thing for whatever event that you have, go to our website, winthewarfromwithin.com. That is where we can address all those. If you have us on Instagram, Facebook, and all this stuff, and of course you do if you're seeing us right now, by all means, message, and you know, if it's
comment on this post.
Exactly. Comment on this post.
YouTube, whatever, get it on the comments,
and we'll address those questions because we love Q&A, and at some point that's what we want to get into is with this show we want to make this as interactive as possible. This is a demonstration of Wirecast. You know, remember what we covered tonight? Do you have any book recommendations for tonight?
I do. I really, on this subject, I really do like, I mean, Principles is a great book. We keep talking about that. I do want to second Extreme Ownership. I know we talked about the last episode. I do want to second that. I don't know. It's not 100% topic related, but it is, and it can be, especially with environments and relationships and networking stuff. There's a lot of good points in there. I mean, a classic that I love is how to win friends and influence people. That's a great classic book on how to talk with people and get to understand them. I just read this new book, great book, The Four Tendencies. It's another great book about how understanding people's tendencies and how they kind of think and how they go out and achieve things and things like that. That'll help you if you can understand the way a kind of person thinks and how they tick and how they handle things, internally and externally. That book will be able to help you identify the type of person they are, and then through that you can communicate with them properly, so you can either help them or get them to buy a product or hire you or whatever it is that you're looking for. Those are kind of my two. Also, I like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. There's a good amount of swearing. I mean, the title there is, and then through the beginning of the book, once you get kind of past that kind of
this is a demonstration
right?
of
that kind of thing of it, where I guess he's just trying to kind of give you a good pattern and interrupt. But the rest of the book, when he goes through, he talks about kind of towards the title, not giving a fuck, not worrying about the shit that's unimportant.
Right.
The relationships are unimportant. The people, the different things that are unimportant, and understanding, if you focus on, the few things that are important instead of the trivial many, you can really narrow it down and get down and help you along lines of communicating better, getting to your goals, and all these other things. That's my recommendations.
Right.
And they'll also be available on winthewarfromwithin.com. They'll have episode 2. We'll have the links to all those books. You guys go ahead and check them out.
Yeah,
everything
is on, like I said, that website, winthewarfromwithin.com.
The replay will be up there in
books from last week, books from this week, and from here moving forward. We'll have all the links up there, so you can access those books instead of having to go through Amazon and find all those books. And those books
will take you right to the book on Amazon.
Yeah, so you can check it out, type in and find the title. It's all right there.
Right through.
And they're all high-level recommendations. Yeah. Trust me, that's if you want to build a correct foundation, you can look through that book list that we have there and build your own menu.
Build your library.
What you want, build your library, exactly.
And if you guys buy a book through that link or whatever other that does support the show, not what we're into. We're not here to try to make anything, but just letting you guys know, full transparency. Those links, we do get a few cents off of those if you do want to buy a book.
This is a demonstration
of
Wirecast.
Do you have a challenge for the people out there?
I do have a challenge. I want to issue you guys a challenge. We're talking about relationships and networking and stuff. I want to issue you folks a challenge. And there's going to be a few stages to the challenge. It's the first thing is if you're not good with talking to people, maybe you're introverted or whatever it be, or maybe you're not introverted, but you're not comfortable with talking to people, or you're not comfortable starting a conversation or something like that, or kind of quick with those kind of things, and different things. When somebody says, "How do you kind of get stunned?" or something like that, or whatever, go into a coffee shop, or when you're shopping your groceries. Every time I buy groceries, the cashiers, especially nowadays, always ask, "Oh, did you find everything you're looking for? How was your day?" Take that opportunity to interact with that person. Look them in the eyes and talk to them. Even if it's just a little thing, even if it's just looking at them and shitting yourself, and then, but knowing that yesterday I couldn't even look at this person. Today I looked at them and I shit myself. Tomorrow I'll look at them and I won't shit myself. And the next time I come in here, maybe I'll be able to say hi. Maybe I'll be able to answer the question. Right? I mean, when you're doing these types of things, you go to get your coffee or whatever. Somebody's serving you, whether it's at a fast food restaurant or fast casual, or you're sitting down dining, and you're talking to the waiters and waiters. When you're looking at these people and you're actually listening to them, you're hearing what they're saying. So many times people ask you a question, and you don't even hear what you said, and you're giving them an answer. And when you're not used to listening to people and being in these uncomfortable situations, these are good opportunities. I want to challenge you folks to talk with the cashiers, talk with the servers, and the people that are waiting on you. Their job is to talk to you as it is already and interact with you. Take that opportunity to interact with them. And then if you're kind of, you've gotten good at those different types of things, go to like a coffee shop or when you're ordering your food or something like that, ask for a discount. If you think, oh, I can do that so easy, go do it. And most people that say, oh, this is easy, I could do that, when they actually get up to the counter at Starbucks and it's, oh, let me get a tall latte. And that's it. And then they go, oh, I could have done it, but I didn't really need the 20% discount.
Right.
Bullshit. Just ask. When they ask, and if they ask you why, just tell them because. Anything you want. Once you say the word because, people don't really hear about the why. They just know you've already justified it, and in their brain, it's fine. So, just go, can I get 10% off today? Oh, for what? Because you're amazing, and I'd like 10% off. And then they say, no, big deal. But that's not the point. The point isn't to get the discount. The point is to talk to people, get comfortable being uncomfortable in these situations, being able to have these spontaneous conversations. And then when it comes time for a real conversation, you'll be used to speaking to people, kind of breaking the ice, getting down, understanding mannerisms and all these different things. Especially nowadays, we spend so much time on the internet, in our cell phones. We've lost a lot of these mannerisms and the ability to read body language and pick up on social cues. This is an opportunity with people that have to speak to you, have to interact with you, for you to get better at that.
Right. And as a final, final thought, this deals with relationships and what we're talking about, communication. Well, I'm just going to read it. It says, the power of encouragement. If you show belief in them, they will feel it. Studies have shown that the person then starts to excel because of that belief.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
So how you listen to the conversation, is going to pretty much dictate how that person responds or reacts to what you say to them. And then my portion of it is we are subconscious puppets because we tend to act the way we are perceived and treated by our peers. For example, if they believe us to be tough, our shoulders go a bit back, chest sticks out, our walk gets a little bit more tougher, and as we quickly move to defend the rights of our peers, even though we have never been in a fight, we feel that way. We feel that we are that person. So we all need to remember that we have tremendous power to influence the identities of other people, and the strength of your thoughts dictates how you act, who you become, and the reason for growth and success or lack thereof. So keep that in mind. Let that, as I keep saying in my other videos, in the mornings and whatnot, chew on that.
This is a
Let that marinate a little bit. That how the energy you put out, the emotions you put out, is going to directly affect the other person. And for parents with children, how you encourage them or don't encourage them really dictates their success in life. You got to instill that belief that they are Superman or Wonder Woman, or wherever your favorite character is, and that they can overcome anything and be anything and do anything. So just let that marinate a little bit. And is there anything else you want to do, Daily Stoic?
I do. First of all, before we get to the Daily Stoic, we have a giveaway. Definitely,
that's right, the giveaway.
Definitely every week we want to try and give something away to you folks. And if we go to this link here, winthewarfromwithin.com/pickme, go ahead and enter into that contest. And I've got 2 books to give away. Damon John's book,
Power Broke.
Sorry, my brain fart there. Power Broke. Amazing book, amazing book. And then Tony Robbins' book, Unshakable. Both of those books will be given to one winner. So go to this link here, winthewarfromwithin.com/pickme. Enter into the contest, and the next week when we go on, we'll go ahead and announce the winner for that. And then I'd like to end here with a little reading from Daily Stoic. We actually kind of already read today's one, so I'll read yesterday's one, which I think was coincidentally very on topic. So yesterday's was, did that make you feel better? You cry, I'm suffering severe pain. Are you then relieved from feeling it? If you bear it in an unmanly way? Seneca, Moral Letters. Next time someone gets upset near you, crying, yelling, breaking something, getting pointed or cruel, watch how quickly this statement will stop them cold. I hope this is making you feel better. Because, of course, it isn't. Only in the bubble of extreme emotion can we justify any of that kind of behavior. And when called to account for it, we usually feel sheepish or embarrassed. It's worth applying that standard to yourself. The next time you find yourself in the middle of a freak out or moaning and groaning with flu-like symptoms or crying tears of regret, just ask, is this actually making me feel better? Is this actually relieving any of the symptoms I wish were gone? Now I have to leave you folks on that. And, you know, throughout the week, in between episodes, you guys can absolutely follow us on all social media here. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all those good places.
And I'll be putting out a new blog in the next day or two. I put one out every week, as you guys know. Or if you don't know, now you do. Go to justinlook3.com. justinlook3.com. If you can't, if you don't remember that, just hit me up through Facebook and whatnot. I usually repost it there. But it's also dealing with personal development and whatnot. But definitely check out our site, winthewarfromwithin.com, and don't be afraid to reach out to us. You know?
No, absolutely. We're on there all the time, and we're happy to help you guys. But until then, we'll see you guys next week, Thursday at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Arizona. We don't change time zones, so eventually we'll go to Pacific time or whatever it is. But until then, you guys have a great day. Enjoy your weekend, and thank you for joining us.